1.9 million. So the mortgage on that, if you did the math, you're probably like $11,000. You know, it's crazy. So 8,000 is kind of a steal.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Shawn and Matt Show. My name is Matt, that is Shawn, and welcome to our show. Shawn, in today's episode, we're going to be looking at the top 5 most expensive rentals in Arlington County for 2026. Now, Shawn, it's like June 24th.
Yeah.
Happy summer to you.
Happy summer.
I realized coming up with these lists, we probably should have done them in December, right, to have the full year. But, you know, why don't you go do that on your podcast? Because here on the Shawn and Matt Show, we're going to do the top 10, top 5 list in the middle of the year.
Well, you got to think, when's the hottest rental market? Right now, like right up till now. So, and the rental market's been really hot. We don't do a ton of rentals, but hey, for these prices, I think we would. You know?
Hottest rental market, and then maybe the hottest rental market in the region and in the United States. Article from ARL Now says that Arlington rents down year over year, but remain highest in region. They're down like, 1%, just cyclical. Other areas that have a higher median rent than Arlington: San Francisco, $3,400, Irvine, California, $3,000, San Jose, $3,000, Fremont, $2,886 as a median rent. Let me see if I can find Arlington's median rents. $2,609 for 1 bedrooms and about $2,969 for 2 bedrooms. So, Shawn, what we're going to do, top 5 most expensive rentals. We're going to include 1 condo and 1 townhouse just to kind of show you what the high end of the townhouse, high end of the condo market is, and then do like the top 3 most expensive rentals so we have some variety. Let's start in Clarendon. Okay, so we have a townhouse that comes in at the number 5 most expensive rental at a price of $8,045. Is actually listed for $799. And they got a bidding war all the way up. What is that? $50.
$50
so it
above.
Escalated 50. Hey, if you can give me $50 more per month, this rental can be yours. And it was on the market for 44 days. Interestingly enough, they still got above the asking price. Shawn, this is one of my favorite houses in Clarendon. It's essentially the welcome to Clarendon house. So you're right on the corner of, what is that, 11th and, I don't know, Fillmore, I believe. And you have like across from Green Pig Bistro, which is now going to be something else. And it's about 3,000 square feet of living space. The house is huge. It's got a wraparound porch. You know, you're going to sacrifice some privacy with about 1 million people walking by your front door. But I think that's why you live in the middle of Clarendon, to be next to all of the restaurants, all of the cafes, all of the shops, retail, ice cream places that are opening up. I really love the house. And for $8,000, more power to you. I really, really enjoy this property.
Well, think about it. I mean, this is right in the location that everybody wants to be in. You walk to everything. This is a huge place for that size, right in that location. I think it makes sense. $8,000. I mean, it really does make sense. How much is the mortgage? What this thing would sell for over $2 million. Your mortgage is over $12,000 if you bought it today, right? Like this, or close to $2 million, right?
It just sold for like $1.9 million.
$1.9 million. So the mortgage on that, if you did the math, you're probably like $11,000. It's crazy. So $8,000 is kind of a steal compared to buying it, depending on what you're putting down. Yeah, you're right. This is like the staple of Clarendon Park. It sits right on the corner of Fillmore and 11th, and the wraparound porch is great. You can just watch, people coming home from the bars.
watch the world go by. But yeah, I mean, I love the location. You're the closest thing to a condo, but it's a townhouse. And Clarendon Park was on our top 10 townhouse lists for those astute Shawn and Matt show watchers. So yeah.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, like you said, it was on for 44 days, and then all of a sudden they get above list price. This is what I want to tell you guys: is like, it doesn't matter how long a place has been on the market. There can be somebody else looking at the same time. Just happened to me last week. I showed a house in Lake Barcroft. It was beautiful. They had just come down on the price, got scooped up same day that we were going to write. And we just didn't have our eggs in a row yet. So that's the way it goes. So this one went slightly $50 above. Good for them.
All right, let's move to the number 4 most expensive rental for 2026. We're going down to Rosslyn to the Pierce Condominium. 2-bed, 2-bath, 1848 square feet, leased for $10,000. This is a gorgeous unit. It's a corner floor. The Pierce was built in 2021. Beautiful finishes, floor to ceiling windows, great views. It's on the 22nd story, so you're not on the highest floor, right? I believe the Pierce goes up to maybe 25 stories. But at $10,000, you're near the max. I think the most expensive rental at the Pierce has been $15,000. Now, interestingly enough, I mean, who the heck is buying this and then just like renting it out a year later? We need to talk about maybe the accidental landlords, because maybe they're just abroad for a year, maybe they're just traveling for a year or out of town for a year and they plan on coming back. But man, if you're buying, one of these condos for how much? $2 million in 2022.
Yeah.
Like you just said, Shawn, I mean, they probably bought it all cash, right? But if you're buying it for $2 million, the person spending $10K a month is probably living large.
Yeah, I mean, $2 million a month. Now, keep in mind, the Pierce is one of the newest, hottest condos in the area. It's no units sold for under $1 million. Well, I guess there were a few. There were a few one-bedroom dens that sold in the 9s. But, this is what you get. When you're buying high-end properties, you better be able to rent them for high-end money. And $10,000, again, think of about a $2 million mortgage. $2 million mortgage. Back then in 2022, you were still getting pretty good interest rates. I think this is right before they popped. So if it was one of these that did a loan, then, you're probably a little more affordable, putting 20, 30% down, probably in the $7,000 range. But then you've got to think about your condo fee. And the Pierce condo fees are not cheap, right? For this unit, let's see what if it says $2,000 a month.
$2,000.
So $2,000 a month on top of your mortgage, then taxes. So before anything, you're paying $4,000 a month in taxes and in your HOA or condo.
And that's
fee.
the landlord paying it. The renter is not paying the condo fee.
Landlord's paying it. So then you got $6,000 left over to pay your mortgage. Are you covering? Probably not. Probably not. And that's what you have to think about when you're buying places to rent in Arlington. There is now a big discrepancy of what you're getting for rent, and those condo fees are going up. So you really have to be careful. Single-family houses, probably a little better investment on the rental side of things, but they're also so expensive. So,
speaking of single-family houses, let's go to the top 3 most expensive rentals in Arlington. We're going to take a look at an active property right now. This is 1604 North Edgewood Street in the Lyon Village neighborhood, active for $11,000. It's being marketed as a furnished rental. It looks like it is on Airbnb as a short-term rental, so I would imagine the owner comes back and forth. And interestingly enough, the price assumes a 2 to 6 month lease. So this tells me that, they're looking for something shorter term, and maybe they've bumped up that rental price because it is more short term. Apparently in 2022, it had rented for $8,000. So maybe the actual retail value is closer to, $9,000 or $10,000 rather than $11,000. This is a 5-bed, 4.5 bath, 3,200 square foot house. I believe there's a guest house in the back. Shawn and I have both been in this house.
We have.
Shawn's buddies with the owner. I actually looked it up on Airbnb. They've got some pretty good reviews. So maybe the owner's making a couple bucks from that. But it'll be interesting to see if someone jumps on, a short-term rental like this.
Yeah, listen, they're out there. $11,000 seems a little high, but I mean, more power to them, right? This is a cool house. We have been there. We have partied there. And that back little house, I don't know if it still has it, but it used to have a little lap pool.
Did he get rid of it? He might have gotten rid of it.
Okay. So there used to be a lap pool in there, which was really cool. Yeah, I mean, great location. Edgewood Street. You're walking right to Clarendon. You're literally 3 blocks to everything in Clarendon. So again, location is always going to get higher rents. Short-term stuff, when you find people that just need something quickly, I have a lot of people that are like, where am I going to stay in the interim? I'm selling this house, buying this house. I need something big. I need something furnished. Furnished is another thing. You're going to pay a premium for furnished, and they're very rare. So rarer rentals, furnished, you're going to pay a premium. So I think he's Yeah, you're probably right on that assessment, more towards the 9, but like that would be long-term lease, right?
Right.
So he's going short-term, and I think there's a possibility of getting it. And it looks like his Airbnb health is pretty good. So
I think there could be a market for that. I mean,
Yeah.
between the Airbnb rentals and trying to find like a 3 to 6 month rental on the MLS, there could be an opportunity. Shawn, what do you think about like a battle group, like 3-night retreat at 1604 North Edgewood? I'm looking on Airbnb. It'll cost about $2,000, but
Okay.
we write it off. Have some seminars on the back flagstone patio under the umbrella.
walk
talk
to all the
business.
bars. We can go out to dinner.
Just
I think it's worth it. I'll call him.
almost like a staycation, but in town.
Yeah.
As like a business retreat type of
Okay,
thing.
you want to do it?
I mean,
Let's do it.
$2,000 for 3 nights.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
not bad at all.
I think we'd have to fill. There's 12 guests, so I think we'd have to get our money's worth.
we can get some people in there. Yeah,
some
I think
people in there.
I'll call him. I'll see if we can go outside of Airbnb. Sell
Dang!
their
Wow,
fees.
you're gonna get yourself kicked off of Airbnb. You do that. All right,
Just joking.
yeah. Airbnb is always watching and
Yeah.
listening. All right, let's go to the second most expensive property. This is also in Clarendon. I tell you what, between the townhouse that we touched on and these two properties, it's almost like a Bermuda Triangle around the center of Clarendon of how close these are. This is 2504 12th Street North, 5-bed, 4-bath, 2-half-bath, 4,000 square foot house built in 2016, which leased for $12,500. You're over on like Barton Street and 12th Street, so a little south, a little east of the main action. But when it comes to single-family houses in Clarendon, you don't get much closer to Clarendon than this. And, what's cool is that the last house, Edgewood, kind of like that 1952s classic, which I love.
And
okay?
if you look at the front picture, it looks like a smaller home because you've got this monstrosity next to you. It's actually a big home. Like it's a good-sized home. So anyway.
So I love that. This is a 2016 house,
Yeah.
which is, a little maybe harder to find because, if you're buying in 2016, maybe you want to live there for, the rest of your life. So, it doesn't quite come available too often, but looks like a beautiful home. To me, maybe a little too close to Barton Street and to Rocky Run Park. But if you need the 5 bedrooms, the 4,000 square foot house, and to be right in the heart of Clarendon, maybe just a bit south, this looks like a great option.
Yeah. Now think about this. They bought this. Looks like they bought the lot back in 2015 for $1.1 million, and then they built a brand new house on that thing. So that house build was probably at the time 2015. They probably paid, over $1 million at least, right? So they're at 2.1. They're doing pretty good on this rental because interest rates were 3%, and then now they're getting $12,000. Pretty awesome. And yeah. Again, location. Most of these are right here, right in walking distance to Metro. Hard to find single families of this caliber that close in to Clarendon. So it's a testy one.
It's a nice house, which leads us to the most expensive house, which is not walking distance and it's not in Clarendon. Shawn, let me introduce you to 3554 Military Road. We're up in, think like Bellevue Forest / like Gulf Branch Nature Center on Military Road, where you can really work up some speed if you're not paying attention, to the speedometer. So 3554 Military, 6 beds, 6 baths, 2 half baths, 7,000 square feet. It was built in 2025 and it rented for, drum roll, $17,700.
Could you imagine that?
$17,700
a month.
I don't, there's a lot to start. Do you want to start on this one? Or?
I mean, all right. First of all, that's a lot of money to spend. Yeah. Number one, was it sold in 2025? Okay.
No.
So is this the builder?
No. Okay, let's start with that. Let's do that.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do property history because, geez, you could do like a whole episode on the property history of this darn thing. So bought it for land in 23 for $850. Immediately listed for sale as a new build for 4.4. Then they bumped it up to 4.975 in 2024. Obviously didn't sell. Let's go to 2025, 4.975 still. Now for 2025, it didn't sell. They dropped all the way down to 3.99. Didn't sell. Let's move to 2026, listed for 4.7. And then also on the rental market starting at $25,000 a month. No one wants this darn thing for $25,000 a month.
No way.
And Shawn, with that original list price of $4.975, that's like $5 million. Do you remember what we were talking about $5 million houses off of Chainbridge Road?
Hasn't happened.
They do not exist. And I'll tell you what, if they did, it wouldn't be on Military Road.
100%.
And it wouldn't be with a backyard that has the entire backyard filled up with a pool.
Yeah.
People don't want that. If you have a dog, okay, you're immediately out. If you have kids, okay, you're immediately out. There's not even a fence around the pool. So I don't know why they didn't just have a yard, like a fenced-in yard situation. They went with the pool. I mean, to me, this is just a classic case of a builder overbuilding the area and thinking that this is what the market wants. And, it's a swing and a miss. It looks like they're using a brokerage based out of San Diego, California, to list the property as like a for rent by owner type of situation.
Yeah.
I don't know what the finances look like on this, but if you don't know the market and if you don't know the end consumer, you may end up having to rent out your property for $17,700, and I don't think that was the plan.
Yeah, builders got to be careful. I mean, this market is very narrow as far as anything, like we said, over 5 million just doesn't happen off of, the Gold Coast of Arlington. But, you have to be careful. And so they spent way too much. They did this ultra-modern house. Ultra-modern is a very narrowed buyer pool. They've got a pool in the backyard, another narrowed buyer pool. $5 million. And the other thing is, you can't do things like this on bigger roads. Military, Glebe, we've seen it so many times, right? Like you think you're getting a good deal on the lot and then you overbuild. It just doesn't make any sense. Builders, it doesn't always make sense to build the biggest monstrosity that you can because it's harder to find a buyer for that. So builder mistake. Now you're renting it out. You're losing money per month probably on the build costs and everything else unless you've got a sweet deal somewhere. But think about hard money sometimes. I mean, it depends on the builder, but like sometimes this hard money is expensive money. So 17.7, you can see they asked for $25,000 in the first, and then they dropped to 22.5. They ended up getting 17.7, which is still really high, the highest rental in Arlington currently, which is
highest rental. I wonder what it's going to eventually sell for. I gotta think it's going to start with a 3. I mean, it's a beautiful house. Probably not the modern architecture that most Arlington buyers are looking for. I think someone would snap it up, but price is everything. And when you're on the busy road and then you have a different type of architecture and then you have a not functional backyard, I mean, even before you walk into the house, you've just ruled out a bunch of people.
Yeah, you got to be careful. This is somebody that just said, yeah, I need this. This is, ambassador to whatever, and just took it. So when the money's not an issue, it makes sense. And sometimes you can get away with this. But if I was the builder, and listen, I've been in situations where I used to flip properties and then all of a sudden the market drops or you're holding a property that you didn't expect to hold. And it's not a fun situation to be in, and you're taking losses every month. So it's not all rosy in real estate. It's not all rosy in flipping. It's not all rosy in construction. You might see the big flips. You might think these people make a lot of money, which some do. But there's a lot of sob stories in real estate that you have to understand happen daily. And be careful. Be careful with what you think you can do, especially if you're a new flipper or a new construction company that thinks you can do. You have to do your research. You have to know how these markets react. And you have to know if there are buyers for $5 million properties. And they're scarce. They're hard to find. And so you're going to sit for a long, long time. So your carrying costs are going to go through the roof.
12-month lease, too. They couldn't even get like a 24-month lease. I mean, by the time you're moving all your furniture in and putting all the holes in the wall,
oh my gosh,
it's going to be time to start looking for the next rental.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't know. We'll see. Did you have a favorite property out of the 5? So there was the townhouse in Clarendon, the condo in Rosslyn, the 1950s single-family house in Lyon Village, and then the 2016 Craftsman in Clarendon, and then Military Road.
Yeah.
Which was your favorite?
I'm probably going location. For me, it's funny. Like, all right, I could see the Pierce. That would be a cool one to rent if I was doing like a short-term rental kind of thing or whatever, just because of the views and everything. But for me, if I'm going location, everything, I'm going with my buddy's house, honestly.
Yeah.
It might be a little high, but that location with the secluded backyard, it's a really nice backyard on Edgewood. That's probably my favorite one. I would go with that one.
Cool.
Crazy.
Well, let us know your thoughts. Did you have a favorite in this segment? Shawn and I think boringly both chose the same favorite, but that's because our opinion was the correct opinion, as it usually is. So thank you so much for watching. For Shawn and myself, until next time, we'll see you then.
Take care.